head blown. I have a nature change. Going to be hemorrhage. He's bleeding.
Fire Chief Brandon Turner monitors calls at the Newton Township Fire Station.
Medics 2, in person. Respond on 45 DNS.
I've been a firefighter for 19 years, fresh out of high school. A long list of firefighters in my family, on both my mom's side and my dad's side.
Newton Township Fire was all volunteer when it started in 1955, but that has since changed.
We recognized, 12 years ago when we went part-time that the volunteer world was a dying breed. We just didn't have the number of individuals that we used to, and it was causing hardship as far as being able to provide coverage to the communities.
He now has a roster of 31 firefighters and medics, some of whom are volunteers. Every day, 3 part-timers rotate through a 24-hour shift. It's a similar situation about 15 minutes away in the Homer Fire District. Matt McElroy has been the chief here for 6 years.
Right out of the gates was a volunteer, yes.
How many other volunteers were there?
At that point, we were all volunteer. Today, we're down to probably about 10 volunteers. We have 26 on the roster, most of those being part-time employees, and some of the volunteers even come in and work part-time shifts.
He says it can be a challenge to recruit volunteers, most of whom also work full-time jobs.
You have to say, wow, I'm going to get up and leave my family at the dinner table to go on a volunteer run, or in the middle of the night. And then it becomes a thing of, okay, well, it's the run's at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I got to get up and head for work at 6. Am I going to have time to do that?
Assistant Fire Chief Jason Hufford says it's not like it used to be.
We'd get a run and the employer would let them leave and come to work. Those days are gone. We used to have a lot of farmers that'd be out in their fields. Those days are long gone now. I said people don't have time to volunteer, and it's just the time commitment's huge.
And then the training that's involved with it. There's a lot of training. It used to be a 36-hour card would happen over a weekend, and now it's 120 plus to get going.
It's been a big societal shift.
Rick Sluter, the Chief Deputy State Fire Marshal, says the state is aware of the challenges facing volunteer departments. He says a task force recently came up with recommendations to help ease the burden.
All of our training here at the Ohio Fire Academy is free for volunteers. That means no books, no dorm fees, no training fees. They can come here for free.
The task force report also says more needs to be done when it comes to funding, training, retaining, and recruiting volunteer firefighters. Otherwise, the days of them being there for smaller communities could be numbered. And now, a new concern.
You might have volunteers working part-time or paid at one station. The next thing you know, the station on the other side of the county decides to hire some full-time people, and so that's where they go to. It's also happening in our small cities across Ohio, to where folks are jumping from one department to the next, and it becomes a bidding war, especially regionally.
Sluter says as more volunteer departments move to paid part-time, local governments will have to come up with mutual aid agreements on how they answer calls, something Homer and Newton Township already do.
We're all in the same boat out here. I mean, we're all working with limited staffing, and we know it's going to be a stretch.
I potentially see at some point, maybe not in the next 5 years, but at some point maybe full-time employment here. There's other smaller township departments that are seeing that the part-time program is an inefficient program.
Issues that have been on slow burn for several years and aren't going away anytime soon. On your side, I'm Terry Sullivan reporting.